Imagine waking up one day and finding your voice has changed, perhaps sounding like someone from a completely different country. How disorienting and unusual would that be? Foreign accent syndrome, often referred to as FAS, is a very rare neurological condition where speech is perceived by listeners to have the characteristics of a foreign accent. However, the affected individual has not been exposed to a foreign language and maintains their native tongue. It is important to understand that this is not a psychological issue or an attempt to mimic an accent, but rather an involuntary change in speech production. The core mechanism behind FAS lies in subtle damage to specific brain regions that control speech motor planning and coordination. These are areas typically found in the left hemisphere, responsible for organizing the complex movements of the tongue, lips, jaw, and vocal cords. When these areas are affected, it does not change the language itself, but rather alters the timing, pitch, and articulation of sounds. For instance, a person might involuntarily lengthen vowel sounds or shift the emphasis on certain syllables, leading listeners to perceive an accent that is not truly there. Diagnosing foreign accent syndrome involves a thorough neurological examination and detailed speech analysis. Doctors and speech pathologists evaluate various aspects of speech production, including intonation, rhythm, and the precise articulation of individual sounds. They also rule out other conditions that might affect speech, such as dysarthria, which is slurred speech due to muscle weakness, or aphasia, which affects language comprehension or production. Sometimes brain imaging, like an MRI scan, can help pinpoint the specific areas of the brain that have been damaged. What makes FAS truly fascinating is its often sudden onset, typically after a stroke, traumatic brain injury, or in some cases, certain developmental or psychiatric conditions. Because the changes are purely phonetic and phonological, meaning they relate to the sound patterns and articulation rather than the grammar or vocabulary, speech scientists and linguists study FAS to better understand how the brain processes and produces language. Each case is unique, reflecting the highly individual nature of brain organization and recovery. Ultimately, understanding foreign accent syndrome helps us appreciate the intricate dance between our brains and our voices. It highlights how even slight neurological alterations can profoundly change our perceived identity through speech, underscoring the brain's incredible complexity in managing such a fundamental human ability.